My beloved child, your soulmate just realized how deeply they love you. The truth shocked them. And at this very moment there is a strange storm moving through their heart because something happened that they can no longer ignore, something they tried to hide from themselves for so long, something they kept pushing away every time your name crossed their mind, but now the universe has forced them to face the truth directly, and the truth hit them harder than they expected because they finally understood that no matter where they go, no matter who stands beside them, no matter how much time passes, their soul keeps returning to you over and over again like the ocean returning to the shore, and this realization shook them deeply because they were not prepared for the intensity of these emotions. They were not prepared to admit that you became the one person capable of touching parts of their heart nobody else could ever reach. And listen carefully, because this message is not appearing before you by accident. There is a reason your spirit was guided here today. There is a reason. Your eyes landed on these words because the energetic connection between you and your soulmate has reached a turning point that cannot be reversed anymore. And while they once tried to act distant, while they once convinced themselves they could suppress these feelings, something inside them suddenly broke open, and now the emotions are overflowing uncontrollably. But wait. The most shocking part is that this realization did not happen during a romantic moment, it did not happen during a conversation, and it did not happen because someone forced them to confess. No, this truth came crashing into them during a moment of silence when they least expected it, when the distractions disappeared and their heart finally spoke louder than their fears, and the moment they realized how deeply they love you. They became emotionally overwhelmed because they suddenly understood that losing you would destroy a part of them forever, and that thought alone sent panic through their soul, because until now they believed they still had time, they believed you would always remain there waiting. They believed they could continue avoiding their emotions without consequences, but secretly they began to notice something changing in your energy. They felt your distance even if you never said a word. They sensed that you were slowly reclaiming your power, slowly choosing yourself, slowly releasing the need to chase them. And this terrified them more than they want to admit, because your soulmate has finally realized that your love was never ordinary, your connection was never casual, and your presence was never replaceable, and erased the truth. They tried to compare others to you, but every comparison failed. They tried to distract themselves with temporary connections, but those connections felt empty. They tried to convince themselves that what they felt for you was only attachment or fascination, but now they know it goes far beyond that, because your energy followed them everywhere. Your voice echoed inside their mind during random moments. Your smile appeared in their thoughts without warning. And even when they pretended not to care, their soul betrayed them by constantly searching for you in every crowd, every memory, every song, every late-night silence. And now the realization has become impossible to escape, because something awakened inside them recently that forced them to see your true value. Perhaps they saw someone else appreciating you. Perhaps they heard your name unexpectedly. Perhaps they dreamed about you intensely. Or perhaps they simply reached a point where pretending became too exhausting. But whatever triggered this awakening completely shattered the emotional walls they spent so much time building, and now their heart feels exposed, vulnerable, and desperate for clarity, because for the first time they are no longer running from love, they are running directly into it. And your soulmate is shocked by how powerful this love truly is, because they never imagined one person could affect them this deeply. They never imagined your absence could feel this painful, and they never imagined that thinking about a future without you would bring tears to their eyes, but secretly. That is exactly what is happening now. They are replaying memories of you repeatedly in their mind, remembering little details they once overlooked, remembering your kindness, your energy, your patience, your laughter, your warmth, and suddenly all those moments feel priceless to them because they finally understand that what you gave them was genuine, rare, and impossible to fake. And listen. Your soulmate has started noticing signs from the universe everywhere, signs that constantly remind them of you, repeating numbers, songs that describe your connection perfectly, unexpected conversations about love, dreams that feel too real to ignore, and every sign pushes them closer toward accepting the truth they once resisted, because the universe is no longer allowing them to stay emotionally asleep. The awakening has already begun, and while they appear calm on the outside, inside they are experiencing emotional chaos because the intensity of this realization is changing them completely, and erase what nobody sees. They are beginning to regret every moment they stayed silent, every moment they acted cold, every moment they failed to express what their heart truly felt, because now they understand how deeply you impacted their life and they fear it may be too late to fix the distance between you. But wait. Despite their fears, something even stronger is happening inside them right now, a powerful urge to come closer to you, a powerful urge to communicate honestly, and a powerful urge to stop pretending that this connection means nothing, because the truth became too heavy to hide anymore, and your soulmate is starting to realize that real love is not something you can simply turn off whenever it becomes inconvenient. Real love follows you, transforms you, haunts you, heals you, and forces you to grow, and you became that kind of love in their life, the kind they will remember forever no matter what happens, and secretly they are wondering if you still feel connected to them too, they are wondering if your heart still carries space for them, they are wondering if the bond between you can still be repaired because deep inside they know they hurt you with their confusion, their inconsistency, and their emotional avoidance. But now they are beginning to understand the pain they caused. Because the same distance they once created is now hurting them in return, and this emotional awakening is teaching them lessons they never expected to learn, lessons about vulnerability, honesty, and emotional truth. And listen carefully, because your soulmate is no longer viewing you the same way they once did, before they saw you as someone who would always remain available, someone who would endlessly understand them, someone whose love would never fade. But now they see your true worth, now they see your strength, now they see your soul clearly, and this realization humbled them deeply because they understand they encountered something sacred when they encountered you, something many people search their entire lives for and never find, and now they fear losing it forever. And erase the truth that shocked them most. They realized that their happiest emotional moments always involved you in some way. Even the smallest interactions with you carried more emotional depth than entire relationships with others. And once this realization hit them, everything changed because they could no longer deny the connection. They could no longer lie to themselves. And they could no longer pretend their feelings were temporary. Because this love has roots deep inside their soul now, roots they cannot remove no matter how hard they try, and secretly they have been watching you more closely lately, paying attention to your energy, your words, your silence, your changes, and the more they observe you, the more they realize how extraordinary you truly are. but secretly this realization also scares them because loving you this deeply means risking heartbreak, risking rejection, risking emotional exposure. And your soulmate has spent a long time protecting themselves from vulnerability, but now the universe is forcing them to choose between fear and love, and their heart is slowly choosing love even though it terrifies them, and harass what they cannot stop thinking about. They imagine what life could feel like if they finally stopped resisting this connection. They imagine conversations with you, peaceful moments with you, healing with you, laughter with you, and for the first time those visions no longer scare them. Instead, those visions feel like home. And listen. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that their soul has been searching for emotional safety all along, and somehow they found that safety in you without even realizing it at first, because your presence calmed parts of them nobody else could calm, your energy softened wounds they never spoke about, and your love reached emotional depths they thought would remain untouched forever, and now the truth has become undeniable to them. They are in love with you far more deeply than they ever admitted even to themselves, and this realization has changed the way they see everything, because suddenly success means less without someone to share it with, distractions feel emptier, and temporary pleasures no longer satisfy their spirit the way your connection does. And secretly they are beginning to understand that their soul was never truly at peace while denying these feelings. Because denying real love creates emotional exhaustion, and they have been carrying that exhaustion for a long time now, but finally the emotional mask is cracking, finally the truth is rising to the surface. And your soulmate is feeling emotions so intense that even they struggle to explain them, because this is not shallow attraction, this is soul recognition, this is the moment someone realizes another person permanently changed them, and you changed them more than they expected, more than they planned for, and more than they can control. But secretly there is something else happening too. They are starting to fear that someone else may come into your life and give you the love they failed to give you when they had the chance, and this thought deeply unsettles them because they know your heart deserves honesty, effort, loyalty, and emotional presence, and now they are questioning whether they wasted too much time hiding from their emotions, because suddenly the idea of another person making you smile, another person holding your attention, another person building a future with you feels unbearable to them. And this emotional jealousy is not coming from ego anymore. It is coming from genuine love and genuine fear of loss. And listen carefully, because your soulmate is slowly reaching the point where silence becomes impossible. They are approaching a moment where their emotions will demand expression, because the heart can only suppress truth for so long before it erupts completely, and the universe has been preparing them for this awakening step by step, through pain, distance, longing, dreams, memories, and emotional lessons, until finally they could no longer deny what their soul already knew from the beginning, that you are deeply important to them, deeply connected to them, and deeply loved by them. And while they may still struggle with fear, confusion, or timing, one thing has become crystal clear inside their heart. They do not want to lose you, they do not want this connection to disappear, and they do not want to spend the rest of their life wondering what could have happened if they had simply been brave enough to love you openly. And secretly they are starting to admire your strength more than ever, because despite everything you continued growing, healing, and evolving, and the more powerful your energy becomes, the more drawn they feel toward you. because your soulmate is finally realizing that your love was never weakness, it was one of the greatest gifts they ever received, and now they understand its value only after feeling the terrifying possibility of losing it, and erase the truth. This emotional awakening will continue intensifying because once a soul recognizes real love, it cannot return to emotional blindness again, and your soulmate has crossed that point now. The realization already happened, the truth already entered their heart, and no matter how much they try to distract themselves, your energy remains there waiting for them in every quiet moment, every emotional memory, and every dream about the future, because this connection is no longer something they can escape from. It has become part of who they are, and even if they still appear uncertain sometimes, even if they still move slowly, deep inside they know something life-changing has happened within them, something irreversible, something sacred, because your soulmate finally realized how deeply they love you. And the truth shocked them more than words can explain. But secretly the biggest shock of all came when your soulmate realized that no matter how hard they tried to stay emotionally guarded, their heart kept choosing you again and again, and this truth made them stop in silence because they finally understood that what they feel is not temporary, not confusion, not loneliness, but something deeply real that has been growing inside them for far longer than they admitted, and now every small reminder of you affects them emotionally. Your name, your energy, your memory, even the thought of your absence creates an emptiness they cannot ignore anymore. And listen, they are beginning to regret the moments they stayed distant, because they now see how rare your soul truly is. They now understand that your love brought warmth and peace into their life in a way nobody else ever could, and the more they think about you, the more their heart pulls them closer toward honesty, closer toward confession, closer toward finally expressing the emotions they once hid so carefully. But wait. Your soulmate is also afraid because loving someone this deeply means becoming vulnerable, it means risking rejection, and for the first time they care so much that the possibility of losing you genuinely scares them, and erase the truth. They are no longer fighting the connection the way they used to because their soul has already accepted what their mind kept denying. They love you deeply. They miss you intensely, and they feel your energy even during moments of complete silence, and now the universe is slowly pushing them toward action because this connection was never meant to remain hidden forever, and very soon you may notice changes in their energy, their communication, or their effort because the emotional awakening inside them has become too powerful to ignore anymore. And despite all the confusion of the past, one truth now stands clearly inside their heart. They do not want a future that does not include you. My beloved child, and lately your soulmate has been replaying old memories in their mind over and over again, realizing that the moments they once considered small were actually the moments that touched their soul the deepest. And now they understand why nobody else ever felt the same to them, because your connection carried something rare that cannot be replaced. And secretly they have started imagining conversations with you again, wondering what they would say if they finally dropped their pride and spoke directly from the heart, because the emotions inside them are becoming impossible to hide anymore. And listen. There are nights when they suddenly feel overwhelmed thinking about how close they came to losing you completely, and that thought alone shakes them deeply inside because they finally recognize your true value, and while they once believed they had endless time, they now realize love cannot survive forever without honesty and effort, and this realization is changing the way they see everything around them. Because suddenly success feels empty without emotional connection, distractions feel meaningless, and temporary attention from others no longer satisfies their heart the way your energy does. But secretly your soulmate is also healing through this awakening, because loving you has forced them to face emotions they avoided for years, and even though this process feels intense, it is slowly transforming them into someone more emotionally open, more honest, and more ready for real love. And here's the truth. The bond between you was never ordinary, which is why no matter how much distance appeared between you, the connection never fully disappeared from their heart, and now the universe is guiding them toward clarity step by step until they finally stop running from what they truly feel. And very soon your soulmate may reach a moment where silence no longer feels possible, because their heart is becoming louder than their fear. And when that moment arrives, the truth they once tried so hard to hide may finally be spoken openly, because deep inside they already know one thing with complete certainty. Loving you changed their life forever. And even now your soulmate catches themselves thinking about you during the most unexpected moments, when they wake up in the morning, when they hear certain songs, when the world becomes quiet at night, because your energy has settled deeply into their soul in a way they can no longer escape. And the more they try to understand these emotions, the more they realize this connection was never random. It was meant to transform both of you from the very beginning. And secretly they are beginning to crave your presence more than they admit to anyone, because your voice, your energy, and your love brought comfort into their life during times they felt emotionally lost, and now that comfort feels impossible to replace. And listen carefully. Your soulmate is slowly learning that real love is not about ego or control, it is about emotional truth, trust, and vulnerability. And through this awakening they are finally understanding the depth of what your soul was trying to give them all along. And while fear still exists inside them, love is becoming stronger than fear day by day. And this emotional shift is pushing them closer toward honesty, closer toward communication, and closer toward the future they once avoided imagining. Because deep in their heart they already know that no matter how far life takes them, no connection will ever feel as powerful, emotional, and unforgettable as the one they share with you.